Okay, we're going to be working Algebra 3.7, number 14. And what it tells you is that there are two buildings, and you'll notice I've drawn building 1 and building 2. And it tells us that, okay, you have one building that is 200 meters high. So that means the distance from the, oops, get rid of that. The distance from the ground to the top of the building is 200 meters. And we'll write that like that, okay? Now, it says, if you read through the problem, it says, a ball is dropped from the roof of a building 200 meters high. Its distance above the roof of a neighboring building, which is 75 meters high, is given by this formula. Now, that's kind of a tricky way to word things, but what it means is that this building is 75 meters tall. But the equation they give you is for this distance right here. So that distance is represented by the equation the book gives you, which is d equals 125 minus 5t squared. Okay? So what you're expecting is that, here, let's use my line tool to draw this. At this point, at the top of the building, the equation equals 0, okay? So let's draw us a nice ball here. Here's the ball. Yay! And we drop it off the building, okay? As it's dropping and it's falling, it's going a certain distance, d. It's going a certain distance every few seconds, and we are representing the seconds with t. Okay, so what they do is they give you A, B, and C. They say, okay, after 3 seconds, what's the distance? And what that means is they want you to say, if t equals 3, then what's d? Right? So you plug in, you take this equation, and everywhere there's a t, and that should be a minus. Let's erase that. Sorry. 125 minus, and then you plug in 5 times 3 squared, right? And then you just solve that. Let's get rid of this so we have solving room. So that equals 125 minus 5 times 9, which is 125 minus 45, which I can't do that horizontally, so I'm going to write this like this, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Okay, so it has fallen 80 feet. So the answer to letter A would be 80 feet. For letter B and C, you're going to do the same thing. And you'll plug in the answers, and I'll actually let you do that part on your own. But what I want to point out to you is specifically letter C, where they give you 6 seconds. You'll notice that at 6 seconds, so we do 125 minus 5 times 6 squared, that's 125 minus 5 times 36, which, let's see, 36 times 5, 3, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we get negative 65. Now, what does that mean for something to have fallen a negative 65 feet? Did I do my math wrong? Well, no. What that means is, if you come back over here to your diagram, you remember how we talked about right here, this white line represents 0. Okay, this is 0 feet. And the reason we know that is because the problem tells you that this equation is only the distance in this area. So only above this line right here, anywhere in here, you're going to get a positive answer for this equation. But after that, down in this section, it's going to actually be negative values like the one you get for letter C, because you've gone past the top of the neighboring building, which was all that this equation was designed to describe. So negative 65 feet means that you are 65 feet past the top of the building, which you can figure out, since the building is 75 meters tall, then 65 feet down means that you're actually 10 feet above the ground, even though the problem doesn't ask you to find that information.